Are you so overwhelmed with the daunting task of edTPA that you have no idea even where to start? If so, one, you're not alone, because I've been there too, but two, this video is for you. I'm going to give you the very first 5 steps you need to take to begin edTPA and really feel like you've got the ball rolling. So stay tuned. Hi, I'm Shelby with edTPA the Easy Way, and today I'm going to be talking about the very first 5 steps that you need to take to begin edTPA. I took edTPA this fall and I just got my scores back and I got a 62 out of 75, and I'm wanting to share the knowledge that I learned, and I post videos like this, edTPA how-to videos, things that nobody told me about edTPA, tips and tricks every week. So if that's the kind of video you are interested in, if you would go ahead and subscribe, give this video a thumbs up if you like it, or comment down below with any other suggestions of things that you want me to talk about. I will be glad to do so. So without further ado, let's begin. The very first step that you need to take to get the ball rolling with edTPA is to know the kinds of lessons that they are looking for. I just created a video on this. It's the 5 things that you need to consider when choosing the type of lesson that you are going to film for edTPA, and I will put that up in the card and link it down below. This is crucial, because you can't start making your lesson plans just the normal way you might make any lesson plans. You know, oh, we'll take some notes here, we'll do a couple just maybe interactive things here or there. You have to know exactly what they want. So because that's a whole other how-to in itself, check out that video I've linked below. But once you know the type of lesson that they want, that is step 1, and you can move forward. Okay, step 2 is that you need to coordinate with your mentor teacher if you're student teaching, or with your content team if you went an alternate route to certification like I did. This is crucial because your mentor teacher, or probably many other teachers in your school, most likely have never had to do edTPA. It is so new, people don't know about it, and they don't have experience with it. So you need to talk with them, you need to coordinate with them and figure out the window of time that they're willing to give you to be able to have this 3 to 5 days of learning cycle that you have to document before you can move forward. And I have also created a video on that, when to choose the best time to film. Again, I'll link that in the card, or also down below in the description. 3 things you need to consider when choosing the timing of when to film, because that also has a huge impact on your lessons and what you're going to do. So, second tip, coordinate with your mentor teacher on timing. Step 3 to getting the ball rolling with edTPA is that you need to pick your standard, your one standard. It might even be a part of a standard, you know, part A and B of the standard if it goes all the way through D, whatever it is. But pick your standard, because you are only documenting a 3 to 5 day learning cycle, and that is only going to cover one standard. You are not covering a unit plan. You are not going to document the end of a unit and then give a unit test. What your assessments, the original assessment you have to create, is going to be basically over one standard. So after you have figured out what kind of lesson they're looking for, and talk with your mentor teacher about the time frame you have, go and look out to your pacing calendar, or talk with your mentor teacher if you're not sure, and figure out what are the standards we're going to be covering at that time, and look at them and choose, okay, it looks like this would be a good time, and this is my standard. Once you have your standard, you're ready to move on. Okay, step 4 is to write your learning objective. Now, all throughout your plans and instruction and your assessment, you have to reference one single learning objective that ties together all of your lessons. In task 1, in planning, in the commentaries, you have to defend that all of your lessons build upon each other and all tie back to the same lesson objective or learning objective. You also have to reference that in task 2 in your instruction commentary, that what you're showing on your video lesson ties directly to your learning objective. And in task 3 for assessment, you have to show that the assessment that you give, and even the formative assessments or the informal checks that you're giving throughout your lesson, all are tying back to making sure your students are gaining a deeper understanding of your learning objective. Now, when you pick apart the rubrics more and more, you will see things that they are wanting you to cite in your learning objective, and one of those is a language demand, which that is a whole other video for itself that I'm planning on making later, because man, the amount of time it took me to really figure out what they meant, I will make it into a whole other video. But you should take the language from your standard and really almost take that word for word when writing your learning objective. So you can say that 1, your learning objective ties to your standard, and 2, most state standards are written with those key words, the action words that they are wanting your students to do in the standards. So if you write it there, even if you're really not certain on what your language demand or language function is going to be right when you write it, if you write it from the state standards using that same language, you are bound and determined to have one of those language demands already written in there that then you can incorporate later when you have to tie back to that. So, step 4, write your learning objective that is tied to your standard. Okay, and last but not least, step number 5 is, now that you've gotten all of these things done, you know when you're filming, you know the types of lessons that they want to see, you know your standard, and you've got a good solid learning objective that can go between 3 to 5 days of your learning cycle. You need to sit down and write the best lesson plans of your life. Okay, you're not going to have to write this type of lesson plan every day. You're for sure not going to have to write this type of lesson plan in detail when you're actually teaching, but it's probably just 3 lesson plans. Most people just do 3. Sit down and write the best lesson plans of your life, the whole time referencing back to your rubrics from your handbook that edTPA gives you, and referencing what they are wanting to see in your plans. Okay, that would be referencing task 1 planning, but also in your lesson plans, you're having to include the types of informal checks that you're giving and your assessments. So you also need to reference your task 3 rubrics for assessment to make sure that you are putting those things in there. Now, that sounds like it'll take a good amount of time, and it probably will, but you can't do anything else until you have your lesson plans written. So take time, do it early. As soon as you can get a date nailed on the calendar, start taking the time, sit down, dedicate a Saturday, let yourself get to that point where you're like, I'm just gonna do it. And by the end of the day today, I'm gonna feel so accomplished, and you will. Once you have finished these 5 things, you will really be on track to getting the ball rolling. The ball is rolling. You will be running next to the ball. It will be on the way, and you will be in the middle, cruising through edTPA. So remember these 5 tips, reference this video while you're planning if you need to, and I wish you the best of luck. Again, if this is something that you've really enjoyed, if you would give this video a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, and subscribe if you haven't already. And remember that I post new videos on edTPA tips, tricks, and things you would really like to know while you're working on it every week. So I hope to see you soon, and happy edTPA.